G'day everyone and welcome to another episode of the Prospectors Podcast. I'm Andy Leahy. I'm here with my good mate Andrew Wilson. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. How are you? G'day, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
I'm going pretty good. I'm out in the Warwick Goldfields at the moment. What are you up to?
I'm in my garage, mate. Doesn't look like it, I know. It's a beautiful garage, isn't it?
That's
I
cheap.
changed my background just to mix it up a bit. I'm not going to show you the mess that actually lives behind me. But what have I been doing? I've been out detecting, got some gold myself.
Excellent.
A couple of trips into a creek that I'd almost given up on. I didn't think there was gold in there and actually cracked a bonanza a couple of trips out there.
Wow.
I've been to China, nearly died of frostbite. And I've just been watching gold prices continue to set all-time highs at $4,820 an ounce currently, which is just crazy. I predicted at the start of the year that we'd crack $5,000 by the end of this year. I think that's probably going to come early.
I think $6,000's not out of the question, mate.
Yeah,
I know, like about September, the last 4 or 5 years come September, October, November, when there's a big push on, but it's also that, the wedding season over in other countries where they have to have gold all the time.
Yeah. India and China wedding season, and away it goes.
India, that's right, and that's half the world's population.
Correct. Yeah.
So it really does make a difference.
So what have you been up to, mate, apart from battling cyclones?
Yeah, dodging a cyclone for that couple of weeks. It just made life tough in southeast Queensland. There was a heap of panic buyers, so couldn't buy toilet paper or bread.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get ready for the Palmer, so I needed things like a battery for my buggy and a generator. I blew my generator up last year. Do you think I could buy a generator anywhere in southeast Queensland, mate?
No.
No, the hope in hell.
No.
So, and then the cyclone really wasn't that bad. There were some parts of right down the Gold Coast in northern New South Wales. It got a lot of rain and wind, and there was some tidal surge, but it wasn't as bad as they called it.
No.
So,
but you're always got to err on the side of caution with these things.
Absolutely. Besides that, I've been out at Warwick now, and I've been getting in some prospecting, not a lot. I've probably done 15 hours prospecting, I suppose, for dead on 4 grams of gold. So I've got a bit here. I'll show you a bit of Warwick gold. Bit of show and tell. So, a few little Warwick nuggets, nothing over a gram.
Yep.
Biggest one's 0.9, there's a 0.8, few half grammers. But, it's still coming in. And that's been a mixed bag. Some have come off old mullock heaps. Mm-hmm. Some have come from virgin ground. Some have come from old patches. So, I probably spent 4 or 5 hours chasing virgin ground for nothing in amongst that as well, which is something I always love to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, you just never know, do you? You got to try it.
You just never know, mate.
Yeah.
You never know unless you go and have a look. So,
exactly.
Scratch an itch. That's what it's all about. It's one of those things you don't want to die wondering, did that gully really have gold? Or
if you didn't swing the coil over it, you wouldn't know.
No, that's right, mate. Besides that, still just getting ready to go up to the Palmer. Just dotting the I's, crossing the T's, getting everything I need to make sure you've got all the Barry backups when you get there. You've got the one you need and the backup one. Because there's nothing worse than getting caught out. Yeah,
there's no shop around the corner.
No, and that's something I think is a safety tip. And the amount of people that travel nowadays, if you're going out in the bush for the first time with a new thing like a solar system, you need to test that at home properly before you go in the bush, because the amount of people I've seen lose a freezer full of food simply because they didn't test their solar system out before they went camping. And they got out there and something's wrong, or the battery runs down too quick, or it won't charge. Just make sure you get it right before you go in the bush.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good to have these toys attached to your four-wheel drive, but if they don't work when you get there, they're a waste of time, aren't they?
That's right. That's it, mate.
Now, just before we move on to reading the ground, I'm actually just going to cover off some housekeeping. The views the last few episodes have been excellent, so thank you guys for that. We do definitely appreciate it.
Cheers.
The problem I've got, well, not a problem. We've got 250 subscribers currently, but we're getting over 1,000 views and watches on the podcast. So I think you guys must be scared of that subscribe button. It's not going to bite, I promise. And it's free. We're not going to charge you to hit it.
Yeah, it takes 2 seconds.
Guys, just try and hit that subscribe button for us and get those numbers up. I know you're enjoying it because you're watching it every week. The numbers are increasing every week. But we want to keep doing this for you guys, and we need those numbers to be going up to get the motivation, don't we?
Yeah, it keeps us going, doesn't it, mate?
It does. It does.
No.
No, we would appreciate it. No, Andy, appreciate it too. If you can just hit that sub button, and if you really want to push us along, share it with your mates, your prospecting mates. I don't care if you share it with your niece.
Yep.
We don't care who subscribes, really. But it just helps. It really helps YouTube understand where to send the impressions for us. So we get more views and we can get everyone in the community on top of the Prospector Podcast. But that was my little bit of housekeeping, mate. If you want to go on to reading the ground, mate.
Righto. So we'll do the reading the ground segment. Today is probably the most obvious thing and the one you hear people talk about a lot, and that's inside bends. Now, when it comes to panning and that sort of thing, inside bends actually aren't that great because they're often really deep. They can be a metre or two of sand and silt. Now, the old timers knew this, and that's why they potholed right down to bedrock level. So the old timers dug out inside bends consistently, and that was for a reason, because they consistently hold gold.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about how inside bends form. Now, I think most people understand that gold drops out in slack water, and when you've got an inside bend, it creates a really good eddy, a great spot, a really slack bit of water that gold can drop out in. But at the same time that eddy is on the inside where the gold drops, on the very outside is all the fast water chewing away at that outside bank. So it's continuing to grow the inside bend. It's eating away at the outside bank and it's eating down at the same time. So the erosion is continuing to happen on the outside of the bend. Well, on the inside of the bend, you're getting the deposition. You're getting all the material that's stopping and dropping out and falling in.
And replacing pretty much.
Yeah, so taking that into account, if you think about where the creek was 50,000 years ago, the gold or the creek was 4 or 5 metres higher on that inside bend. 100,000 years ago, it was maybe 20 metres up the hill on that inside bend. And it could have dropped gold at any of those times. In fact, it's quite possible that at one of those points in history, the gully was running at its richest point ever. Yeah. And it was carrying the most gold it ever carried. Yeah, and so there would often be a run 10 metres up or 20 metres up or sometimes higher than you think it could possibly be.
Yeah.
So inside bends, drop gold due to the way they form and due to the way the water runs. And like I said, for a lot of us, or a lot of inside bends, it's really silty and sandy. It can be super deep, too deep for people to dig down to pan it, too deep for the detector to reach. But some inside bends aren't. They're quite shallow, especially if you go further up the hill. If you get, 5 or 10 metres out of the creek, then you're going to start seeing bedrock and shallow ground because a lot of the loose sand and silt has now weathered down back into the creek. But the gold didn't. Gold being heavy and lazy, it's just hanging up there on that inside bend. Yeah. And it's probably my second favourite place to find gold because when I start getting gold on an inside bend, you start thinking patch, big nuggets. Like that's where it can get really exciting. Yeah. So inside bends, don't ever doubt them. The old timers never doubted them. We shouldn't either.
Well, they're talked about so much for a reason because they consistently have gold. Yeah,
consistently have gold.
Yeah. I mean, from my point of view, I've got a major battle with material. Like it's just not worth the time and effort to move 2 cubic meters of soil to get to the pan at the bottom, or river rocks and everything else that's in with it, and sand and garbage. When I can just go to a crevice and get the same amount of gold.
That's exactly right.
It's just work smart, not hard. So that's only my gripe. I'm totally in agreement with you about where it was 20,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, and it getting shallower and detecting that because it's definitely pay off for sure.
Oh, when I read the history of the Palmer River, because the Palmer River is really sandy. It's a sandy part of the world. So some of the inside bends on the bigger creeks were just massive sand beds. Yeah. And nowadays you can't get a single thing out of them. But when you read the history books, the first people onto some of those beds were pulling out 20-ounce plus nuggets just straight out of the sand on the inside bends.
Crazy.
Just picking them up everywhere, filling billy cans in a matter of no time.
Unreal.
Just massive nugget. They didn't call it a nugget on the Palmer unless it was 20 ounces. Yeah. And they were getting dozens of nuggets on a single inside bend.
Yeah.
That's so, crazy. It's just one of the best spots for gold to drop out.
Yeah, for sure. Now, mate, I'm going to chime in with a bit of reading the ground this week.
Excellent.
But it's got a story attached to it, so bear with me.
Beautiful.
I more recently discovered that reading the ground can come as you're going along too, because of where you are. But I did all my research on a certain creek, and it told me there was going to be gold there, and I went to the creek, and everything looked perfect. Like, this is one of the best looking creeks I've ever prospected. Like, it was just, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to kill it here. 4 hours and a bunch of crevices and material later, I didn't have a speck of gold in the pan. I was like, right, I'm done for the day. I'm out of here. I was driving back past it again and couldn't help myself. Dropped in again. 3 hours. This time I went more traditional. I went inside bends. I went flood gravels looking for, different types of gold deposits. And 3 hours later, one speck of gold. One fly sheet of gold. And I was like, right, I'm done with you. I'm out of here. But, when it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. It's a duck. Well, this creek said, I'm full of gold, and you can see that I should be full of gold. So I went back for one last go. And I said to myself when I got there, you walk until you get to a spot where you say, there has to be gold right there. Don't go, there could be. There has to be. So walk until you get to that. I didn't make it far. I think I made about 150 metres from the car. And in 3 very small crevices later, I pulled 0.68 of a gram.
Beautiful.
Of chunky gold in 2 hours. Right. So 30 test pans of nothing. And I returned, and just went, dug in and worked out why I wasn't getting. I ended up working out why. So this creek has very steep terrain either side. Its banks are super steep. It also has a very fast fall. It comes down at a great rate of knots. And it's predominantly made up of blonde sand. So the gold is fighting nothing to get to the bottom. It's literally like dropping through air. So the only place you will find gold in this creek is in the very deep, deep crevices on the bedrock. It is not sitting in flood gravels. There is no gravels. It's not sitting under, behind boulders or anything. I've tested all that. Trust me, it's not there. It is just at the bottom. And it's only through that process of elimination, where's this gold? I know it has to be here. Where is it? And going, all right, well, it's not in the gravels. It's not in the sands. It's not at the end. I was even hitting like little waterfall drop-offs where you'd usually get fine gold, flood gold in there for nothing. And I was just like, what's going on? I've lost it. I can't prospect anymore. I've lost the touch, So the other reason is the gold in this creek is very chunky. There is no fine gold. It's pretty much just pickers. Like they're just under picker size or they're full pickers. And I went back again 2 days later because I couldn't help myself and pulled another 5.57 or something in 2 hours because it was 36 degrees. So I didn't hang around too long. But now that I know how this creek works, and it's literally 2-3 kilometres from another creek, well, the creek that I've been pulling like grams out of the crevices there. So I thought it'd prospect the same way. It's totally different. You could be in another goldfield. It's that different. And it's only a matter of one ridgeline, literally one ridgeline.
Yep.
So,
yeah. It's like that. It's horses for courses, mate. You got to take every gold deposit on its own value and its own merits, and try and work out how that ground works.
Well, that's right. Yeah. I mean, sorry for the long-winded story that went with this, but it was just 2 creeks that prospect totally differently that are literally one ridge away from each other. Yeah. Just keep that in your mind when you're going to a new spot, or if you're not having the success you think you should be having in a creek. Just grab those little clues that you've got, put them all together, and you might come up with an answer.
Persevere as well. It really is a good trait to have in this game.
And once you nut something out, you'll see your gold take grow. Mm.
Yeah, and it's live and learn. Like you're constantly learning when you're like that too. Every time you go into a new creek and learn something new, it's with you forever. Yeah, and that's that nugget catalogue I talk about, where you find so much gold that over the time you start to walk into creeks and go, that looks just like that spot I pulled gold at so-and-so. Yeah. And it makes it easier in the future.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. definitely. Or it could be just a material thing. Like this area that I've been currently working in, there's no indicators. There's no black sand. There's no tin. There's no ironstone. Nothing. It's blonde sand and gold. That's it.
Sounds pretty good.
It's really good to pan. Like you can just
that's great
through the material because your gold's not going anywhere. It's all at the bottom.
And while panning a half a gram of fine gold's great, panning half a gram with a couple of 0.1s in there makes a massive difference because then you feel like I could pan a gram nugget here any moment. You know.
Yep. Yeah, it's really nice gold. It's really chunky gold. I'll do an Andy and get some out for show and tell her.
Yeah, why not? Show us your Melbourne gold.
Me Melbourne gold. So I got, oh God. It was all good fun until I tried to put it in a jar. Can't get my fat fingers in there.
No, it's funny how you can see gold from different parts of Australia and identify it almost straight away by colour. There we go. Oh, yeah. They're nice bits, mate. That's a nice picker.
Yeah. So it's like that. And then like in the same day, I was getting, like this one I thought was a bit of lead shot in the pan because it's dead round. But
yeah,
it's like, nice reefy gold.
It is.
Yeah, so.
It's quite an unusual colour, that gold too, I find, that you've been showing me from down there.
Yeah. But it, most of the gold I get 98 plus.
Yep.
I've only got one bit here actually that hasn't gone pretty much 24 karat gold.
Really high purity, yeah.
Yeah, we've got super high purity down here.
Like a 1% difference in copper or silver can just change the colour of gold majorly.
Yeah, it does.
It's very similar in purity to the Warwick gold, yet their colour's far removed. It doesn't look anything like it. And then Palmer gold and Clermont gold are just richer again and deep and,
Yeah, well, I even noticed up in Warwick, like that bit that I got up there, that it was bright. It's a strange colour. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite bright gold. Warwick gold is about 82% pure, but it is just beautiful gold, and it's that combination of the high silver with a little bit of copper.
Yeah.
And it's just so bright.
Like all bright.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Where Palmer gold's deep and rich, like deep yellow.
Irons and...
Yep.
Yeah,
and it's 98% pure at least. I've seen Palmer Gold go 99.4.
Yep.
So that's why the colour's so deep. Of
course. Deep. Yeah.
Rightio. So time for a nugget shout out.
It is time for this week's Nugget Drop. So this week, Nugget Drop shout out goes to probably one of the best community first personalities you'll find, and that of course is Andrew from That's Gold up in New South Wales. If you haven't seen Andrew's YouTube channel, you need to check it out. He is an absolute character, and he won't mind me saying that one bit. You've got to check him out. He's a ripper! So there's never a dull moment when you're watching one of his vids. He gives heaps of gold away. He's a true legend and of the prospecting community. So that's gold. Make sure you check it out and say good day to Andrew. Tell him that the Prospector Podcast sent you over. So shout out Nugget Drop to Andrew from That's Gold. Cheers, mate.
Good on you, Andrew. Another one for the... What is it with Andrews and the prospecting community, mate?
I know.
Yeah.
Well, we were going to mix it up this week, weren't we? We were going to have a special guest on.
We were going to have a special guest on, but things took a turn. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So we'll get the special guest on next week.
Should we tell them who it is?
Oh, I guess so. They're probably all waiting. Going to get my old mate Jackie Bazzetti on here and let her tell us a few stories, eh?
I'm going to be surrounded by TV stars. I won't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, you'll be right, mate. we get you here to keep us grounded.
That's right, yeah.
We'll get Jackie on. She's always good to have a chat to, and we might get a few Palmer stories out of her, and a bit of a yarn here or there, and just pick her brain a little bit. I mean, Jackie came into the prospecting world like all of us, a raw beginner, and she worked really hard. Honestly, mate, I've worked with a lot of prospectors, and very, very few work as hard as Jackie did.
Yeah.
She worked blokes into the ground day after day in the Palmer, and that's why she's an absolute little legend. So we'll get us a few stories off her, and maybe get her to throw in a few special points about parts of prospecting that she found hard or something she learnt along the way as well.
Yeah, we might even drag her in for the whole show, eh?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? I did it to the boys while you were missing. Did it to the boys while you were missing last week. So
they did a great job too. Shout out
again to Two Brothers Prospecting. Yeah, did a great job. Thanks, boys.
That's it. All right,
Yeah.
so hotspot time.
This week's hotspot. What have you got for us, mate? Up your way.
Bit of a follow up from the chat with Donnie Pascoe, basically about Clermont. We talked a lot about it, but we didn't really touch on the history or the actual area, the public areas. So the history of Clermont is really shady. You try and track down who the original finder was for the Clermont Goldfield, and all I could find was two shepherds discovered gold at Peak Downs in 1861.
Yep.
So whoever those two shepherds were, good on you fellas. You started off a massive rush. Now, Clermont covers a massive area. It really does. And there's been, they estimated there was 400,000 ounces came out from the start of the rush to the 1950s, but I suspect that's way unders.
Yep.
The gold I've seen come out of that place, I tell you, man, it produces chunky gold consistently. There's some big gold at Clermont, really big gold. And there's a heap of public fossing areas. There's 12 different fossing areas.
Jeez, that's good.
Some of them are huge. Some of those general permission areas are huge. So we'll chuck a link.
Links in the description, guys. I've added all those, and I've actually chucked a few images of the maps up while we've been talking about it as well. So,
because it's still a great destination for prospectors to this day. There's a great caravan park there. There's some good pubs to get a feed. Shout out to Jonathan Porter, who owns the Outback Prospector there, so you can get all your prospecting needs. He's a good mate of mine too, AJP.
Also a link to Outback Prospector in the description below.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys. So, look, Clermont's a great holiday destination. Just go there during winter, because any other time, she a hot part of the world, central Queensland.
What was the main sort of mining methods there, mate? Was it all just alluvial or all alluvial? Yep.
No, not all. There was a few hard rocks, but nothing serious. It's just alluvial gold. It's like a lot of Queensland goldfields. It's really old now, and the gold's already weathered out. So I'm going to actually touch now on why I believe there's not many hard rock gold mines in Queensland. Now, this was explained to me by a geologist. For those people that aren't watching on YouTube, you might want to get on to see a bit of a demonstration. But
we actually show video on Spotify now too, mate. We've jumped up the class there. Yeah, you can see. You can watch us on Spotify as well.
So when the gold formation happens, so you've got your sedimentary beds already laid down. You've got your sandstone, siltstone, mudstone, whatever it is. But the vast majority of our goldfields are sedimentary beds. And then there's uplifting, which allows folding and faults. Then through the faults will come your quartz injection. Now, those injections will bring the heavy metals with them. Now, this was explained to me by a geologist, but it sort of comes up from an ore body at the bottom and spreads out at the top like a tree, basically like a tree.
Yep.
But the heaviest metals will get pushed to the very top of that tree, so they're closest to the surface. So they're the first things to weather out. Your ironstone and your gold, which often come together. And that's why you've got these really, really rich alluvial fields with hardly any hard rock mining in them.
Yeah, because they've all eroded out.
Already weathered out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, a big sign in a lot of these gold fields up here is that we've actually got folding in the rock formations.
Sure.
Now, folding and faulting are the same mechanism. They happen from uplifting or subduction or movement of the ground will cause it to either fold or fault. And the difference is it folds when it's really deep and it's hot. It's like having a chocolate bar in your pocket. And when you try and bend it, it folds. But right up near the surface, the rocks are cold. It's like you've put the chocolate bar in the freezer now. And when you try and bend it, it cracks. So that's the difference between folding and faulting. So when you see, so folding happens at a minimum depth of about 8 kilometres, usually more like about 12 kilometres underground. So when you see folding on rocks on the surface, you know there's been at least 8 kilometres of weathering.
You know, just I don't know if it's related, but just curiously, you know, I think it's 97% of our seismic activity is at a depth of 10 kilometres.
That's right, yep.
Right, where that heat change, where we fold or we. So obviously with folding and faulting, sections can come up and make it shallower and that sort of thing. But generally, if you're seeing folding, there's been at least 5 kilometres of erosion happen, which is for a country as old as Australia,
that's definitely not out of the question. In fact, it'd be surprising if that didn't happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, it's got a lot to do with that. I know. Understanding geology isn't essential, but it helps.
Oh, it helps. Yeah.
It really helps.
Yeah. We were actually talking off air while we were waiting for my neighbour to finish mowing his lawn. And we were talking about geology and, the advantages of knowing how these things were formed and why they formed and how they've eroded and where they've eroded. If you're not taking that out into the goldfield with you, it's just my opinion, but start learning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think what we need to do is maybe get a geologist on here one day.
We should probably do that. I'm going prospecting with one on Tuesday, so I might hit him up,
And you need a geologist that can dumb it down for prospectors. Put it into that analogy that simple people like us can understand. Yeah.
So if anyone hasn't seen Oz Geology's channel, just go and check him out and see if he dumbs it down enough for you. He's got a massive following. I'll be out with him prospecting this week, and he's already agreed to come on the show. It's just been timing. So he had to shoot off overseas last year and stuff. So yeah, we're going prospecting before we record a podcast. We got priorities, mate.
Yeah, mate, that's where it's at. No worry. Look, I only got back from the bush like an hour ago, so
I know. Yeah,
had to run back in, have a shower, jump down, record this, and as soon as I finish here,
you're out finding too much gold, mate. I've been sitting around all day waiting for you, twiddling my thumbs.
I blame Mick, Jay, Benny. If you guys are listening, this is all your fault, fellas. Yeah. Especially you, Mick. All good. And as soon as I finish here, I'm off to the Old and Gold Festival at the Carrara pub.
So you're the old bit, or
I'm the old bit, but I've got to talk about gold. So do a quick chat.
Hence the name.
Quick chat for the beginners. Yep. So I'm looking forward to that actually.
Oh, if you're in the area of Carrara, guys, head down and you can see Andy at the pub tonight.
Maybe. Probably
he's got a track record at that pub. We had 2 beers there and he passed out. So that was heat stroke. That was heat stroke, wasn't it?
I'm more likely to turn up if you offer a free feed than beer. So just say.
Yeah. I'll do the same.
Beer interferes with prospecting too much, mate.
It does.
I hate waking up dehydrated.
Yeah. That's why I don't drink it. Yeah.
Righto, where are we up to on this sheet here?
I think we've actually come to the end. So on the sheet, that doesn't mean we've come to the end of the podcast. It just means that's all I had time to type. I landed back in Australia from China 2 days ago, so we haven't had much time to prepare for this one.
And I've just been in the bush and been slacking, haven't helped out.
Yeah,
so
just the weather's bad. The weather's bad.
I've got a sore foot, mate.
Yeah,
I had a sore foot.
Yeah.
Very good, mate. We'll put a bit more time into the next one, and we'll get Jackie on and get it all sorted. But
let's do some more housekeeping, guys. You can find Andy's YouTube channel. He's got some content coming up because he's been out on the Goldfields. So Andy Leahy, Diary of a Prospector, and you can find my channel, Another Gold Prospector, as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe this one.
Yes, absolutely. It really helps us out.
We obviously have links to everything we've talked about in the description below, and of course the shout out and everything else we've covered. We will have Jackie Bazzetti on next podcast.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed everything goes well again. Look, people have lives and things come up, so we can all deal with that.
I'm hoping next podcast I'm at the Palmer, mate.
I think you're dreaming, mate. They're forecasting about 800 mil of rain there in the next week.
Need a bit more Palmer gold.
Hey, look at it out. He's got more show and tell.
It looks better than the Warwick gold, I reckon.
Is there a bit of quartz in that still, or is it just the camera?
Yeah, no, a bit of rock in that one. Yeah, it's quite an unusual specimen. I love the specimens
pink,
up there that are water worn. Just put it up with yellow and pink quartz. And
it's got pink quartz in it? Yeah, it does. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Beautiful. And sometimes they acid them out, but when they're really nice like this, why bother? I mean, that's a beautiful piece.
Tie a bit of rope around that and sell it straight as it is. That's a pendant ready to go.
Lovely piece. Yeah. And it's probably still, 7 grams of gold, so 4 grams of rock in that.
Just a thing, I don't think we've ever mentioned this either, too, that I think you've got a couple of bits of jewellery on...
I actually had a bit of a dabble. For those that don't know, I was into chasing gemstones a lot more than gold for a long time. But then I came back to gold because the price of gold went through the roof. But, some of those gemstones, like I learned to cut and brought a faceting machine, faceted my own gems that I found, and I've set some now with gold nuggets.
I've just put some images up on the screen for people to see.
Beautiful, mate. Yeah, I'm so stoked with the way they come out.
But they're really nice. Yeah. No, they look great. Yeah.
They're gorgeous. Yeah,
so,
really are.
There's a link to Andy's Facebook page too, so you can see what he's been doing with that stuff as well, and check them out. I know a lot of people want to get hold of some of your stuff that you find in the bush, so there's an avenue for them.
Beautiful. Thanks, mate.
No worries, mate. But
alrighty.
I think we've been yabbering on for about half an hour now, so we can have a short one for a change. We haven't got a guest on, so
no, that's right.
Thanks everyone for listening, tuning in. We do appreciate your support. Share us around, help us out, and you know what I did forget?
What?
Why do we have a run sheet if I can't follow it?
I don't know. It's not like you forget something.
Guys, you all know that we love Matt's Crevice tools.
Mate, I can't believe that.
I know. There goes me next bloody set of Crevice tools. I won't be getting them. There goes our picks. No, just to let you know, he takes credit card payments on his website now. So it's a lot easier. You don't have to contact him through Facebook or anything anymore. You can just buy what you like, calculates the shipping and everything for you, and bang, he'll post it out the next day. So I finally got off my lazy bum and got that sorted for him on his website. So that's now all operational. So head over to mattscrevicetools.com.au and check it out. There's a bunch of products coming too. He's got a whole heap of new stuff coming, so won't be long.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So
get some. It's better than digging out crevices by hand. It'll save your fingertips.
Yeah. The other day I wore through my gloves doing crevices, and I took them off obviously because your gloves fill up with material, and you're like, how much gold's in the end of my fingers here? I better just. And I only lasted about another crevice, and I'm like, I'm done. Yep. It's just
I've got some nasty cuts on my fingertips over the years, mate. Some of that rock gets so sharp too.
That's just no good. And stagnant water too. Like, you don't want open wounds in that mozzie-ridden, leaf litter, stinky, horrible the black water. It's just not great. Yep.
Stinky.
It's bad enough when you get in the car and you smell your waders all the way home, let alone having it in your bloodstream.
That's it. Jump on Matt's Crevice and Tools. He supports us guys, so if we can all support him, that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
And he's a ripper bloke too, so that always helps. You don't like pushing guys when you go, he's got a great business, but he's an asshole. So, all right, guys, we'll leave it there. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and we'll catch you with Jackie Passetti next episode in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.